Boys, today I decided to rank every single arc in Boruto. With the anime officially ending this weekend, I thought it would be fun to just look back and rate all the previous arcs. So I've got every arc in chronological order from Academy entrance all the way to the Code arc, and just for shits and giggles I threw in the Prophecy arc in the manga. Tiers are the best, obviously, great arcs, decent arcs, mid, and then ass arcs. Okay, starting off, we have the Academy entrance arc. So this is where we have Mitsuki introduced. They show Boruto's Jogan, which ironically never comes back ever again in the show. It was really cool because the story was kind of new. Part of what made it so interesting was seeing all of the characters returning from Naruto and seeing what they look like. We get the scene with Boruto and Kawaki in the flash forward. There's a cool fight at the end where Boruto fights Nue. There's some cool moments like Boruto sparring with Hanabi. Oh, Shino's in this arc, yeah. They fight Shino. Mitsuki's really interesting. And I remember watching this arc and thinking that Mitsuki was the villain, but obviously he turned out to be a good guy. I don't know if it was a great arc, but it was decent. It was definitely decent. Moving on, we have Sarada Uchiha. This is like the Naruto Gaiden. I'm gonna put this in great. There were some super cool fights in this arc. Sakura versus Shin? Holy shit, that fight was so good. Those little Shin things were kind of funny. Sarada got to see Sasuke. She like awakened her Sharingan. Boruto and other people didn't really do much, but it was just kind of a bond between Sarada and her family, the Uchiha. It was super cool. I liked it. Sarada's a cool character. Sasuke's a cool character. Sakura's a cool character. But yeah, I'd say this was a great arc. Next we got the school trip arc. I'm sorry, but this arc was mid. This was mid. It was not ass, but I did not enjoy it. The new 7 ninja swordsmen were kind of a letdown, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they were not even remotely as interesting as previous ninja swordsmen. They were pretty lame. The one chick with like the needle was kind of cool. But yeah, Kagura kind of just like hard carried the arc, but it moved by really slowly. I will give it credit though, and I almost want to put it in decent just because the animation for like the final fight was crazy. It's one of the best fights in all of Boruto, like super duper underrated. No one rates that or talks about that fight where Boruto and Mitsuki are fighting Kagura and that Kisame wannabe guy. So it almost teeters at the end of decent just because of that fight alone, but I'm going to keep it in mid because I genuinely didn't enjoy it that much. On the contrary, Graduation Exams is decent to great. I love this arc. Super good, nice and sweet. Boruto's resolve is tested. Kakashi does the infamous speech to everyone. A lot of cool little fights. I don't know, like, people don't talk about this arc, but I really liked it. I thought it was good. It was one of the few times where the anime, like, showed something that really should have been included in the manga. Like, the manga starts off with them already training to be Chunin, and we never get to see how they even graduate from the academy. So, yeah, I like this arc. It was cool. Genin mission, I don't even remember what happens. I'm not gonna say it's an ass arc, but it might be. I don't know. I genuinely don't remember. It's probably cool to see them go on their first mission after graduating, so I'll give it that. But I don't even remember what happens. Byakuya gang. Okay, so again, I think this arc kind of suffered in the same way that the school trip did. It wasn't all that interesting, but it had like a really cool animated fight. Like Shikadai versus that ice kid, I don't remember his name, was really cool. Byakuya gang was kind of lame, don't really care about them. But that fight like on the train, that sticks to my memory. Like, I always remember that fight. It was really cool. And the concept of Shikadai being kind of like too lazy and he needs to grow out of his skin and kind of, you know, take responsibility. I think that was the theme. I don't remember. It was cool. Kind of forgettable though. Chunin exams. This is one of the best arcs. Obviously, episode 65 is probably the best episode in the Naruto franchise. I'm not gonna lie. There's anime quality, then there's movie quality, and then there's episode 65. Like, it transcends anything we've ever seen before. It is so nuts. Hands down, still the best episode in Boruto. And that aside, the whole arc was really well done. We got to see everyone fighting. There's a lot of expansion on the fights that were just kind of like a few pages in the manga. We got full episodes. Everyone got to fight. Obviously, it wasn't as good as the original Chunin exams because we're in kind of like a time of peace. It didn't feel like the stakes were there. The stakes weren't as high, but it was still cool. It was cool to see some nostalgia, see how they tweaked the Chunin exams a bit, and then obviously Momoshiki is a fire character. Great arc. One of the best. Chocho arc? Yeah. Coming off the back of the Chunin exams to single-handedly go to one of the worst arcs is probably one of the worst things they could have ever done. Like, pump out another school trip or Byakuya gang type of arc, but they went into the most polar opposite end of the spectrum. We have crazy fighting. 2 episodes later, we have Chocho like trying to hook up with some guy. It was like, Why? You have all these new fans introduced to the series now because of all the hype from the Chunin exams. Why do you underdeliver immediately after? That's an ass arc. I'm sorry. Just no. Mitsuki's Will. I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the few arcs that I did not complete. It was just too long and too boring. This is before I really got into the series, so I just didn't have the patience for it. I know a lot of people think it's decent to great, and I feel bad rating it because I honestly can't give a good opinion. I got to the point where there was just a whole episode where they were putting stones in the wall. Boruto got a snake summoning, I think. From the clips I've seen of the stuff I missed, the fights look cool, I'll give it that, but that wouldn't rate it any higher than School Trip or Byakuya Gang. But I get the concept, Mitsuki, they kind of were trying to replicate the Sasuke retrieval arc with Mitsuki again. I feel bad rating it, but I still think it's a mid arc. Parent-Child Day, this is a great arc, super funny. I love seeing Naruto interact with Himawari, Sasuke interact with Sarada, my little peanut. The difference between this and the Chocho arc is that the Chocho arc just wasn't funny. I'm sorry. This was genuinely just funny. Curse Seal? I don't know. I think it was decent. I want to say it was decent. I'm trying to rank it amongst all these. School Trip, Byakuya Gang. What is the best out of these? I will leave it in mid for now, but I think it's towards the top of mid. I think School Trip's still a bit better. Honestly, School Trip might be decent. But yeah, Curse Seal arc. This is the Jugo arc. I think what carries this arc is Konohamaru versus Jugo. That fight is so cool, where he freaking does a backflip and then kicks the kunai through his mouth, and then does the giant Rasengan and blows him away. It's short and sweet, something that can't say the same about for Mitsuki's Will that's 30 episodes long. It's only 5 or 6. Steam Ninja Scrolls, I'm sorry, this was ass. I did not like this arc. I don't know if people do like this arc. Am I gonna get hate for saying this? But again, like Mitsuki's Will, I don't think I finished it. I know that there's a Hidon wannabe in it, but it was really boring. This was at the point where I think the time slip arc was out, and I was trying to get caught up, and I was like, I'm not wasting my time with this. This is stupid. And I went ahead and skipped it. Konohamaru Love arc, I think, is kind of the same deal. I don't recall anything from this arc. I know he falls in love with some girl named Remen or something. But yeah, these two arcs, they're not good. They don't really contribute much to the story overall. I know Steam Ninja Scrolls is technically a manga. Yeah, it's just so separated from the actual story of Boruto that it feels kind of pointless, and I don't really care about, what's her name? The Shisui looking girl. One Tail's Escort, I think this is a decent arc. If Urshiki was not in this arc, it would be a great arc. But Urshiki is so annoying, dude. I like the One Tails in the little teapot. I liked Gaara fighting. I like Sasuke fighting. Boruto and Shinki. Shinki is the GOAT, dude. I love that. I think Tamari fought too. They were fighting puppets. There was a lot of cool fights and a lot of cool characters getting involved. I really like the Sand Village, so yeah, this is a cool arc. Time Slip arc is a great arc. This is the arc that everyone complains and bitches about how Sasuke is too weak and always out of chakra. Watching through, I don't recall that bothering me all that much as people make it out to be. I think he only said it once or twice, and it was literally after he got the shit beat out of him and used his Rinnegan 20 times. I'm like, well, yeah, of course he's out of chakra. People get really bothered by that. That aside, there's tons of episodes with Boruto interacting with the old cast. As a Naruto fan, love that. Urshiki was a little more bearable this arc. The final fight against him with Jiraiya in Naruto was really well done. The story was cool. It's I feel like it's a huge plot hole. There's some turtle in the ocean that can make you go back in time. Why didn't Urshiki go back to when Naruto was a baby? I don't know. It's filled with plot holes out the wazoo that probably lower it on a second rewatch, but the first time watching, it's a lot of fun. Mujino Bandits, this is a great arc as well. This also includes the prologue in Hozuki Castle, I think it's called, which is one of the better arcs that the anime has done that kind of ties into the manga. It kind of introduced Mujino Bandits as a gang in shoujoji and kind of built them up a bit. Instead of in the manga, you don't really learn about them. You hear them on the news once and then you just start fighting them. And the characters at the prison I actually really liked. I didn't have a problem with any of them. And then the actual Mujino Bandits arc was really cool. It introduces Boruto's karma, Kara, the fight against Shoujoji's cool. I love Tento. Tento was a cool character. I wish he came back. He's kind of like the Inari of Boruto in a way. Little kid who is annoying at first but befriends the main character at the start of a show. In the grand scheme of things in the anime, this is not the start of the show, but in the manga, this is chapter 10 or 11. Yeah, this is chapter 11, so this is really the start of the story. Chapters 1 through 10 in the manga are just adapting a movie, so this really is the Land of Waves arc in a way of Boruto. Next, we've got Kara Actuation. This is the best. I almost want to say it's better than Chunin Exams. If the anime would just put out content like this every time, no one would complain about anime canon. I swear. This arc is so cool. Every single episode was a banger. There's always like a freaking some sort of plot twist or some sort of crazy fight or revelation or cliffhanger. Depot was super cool, way cooler than all these other stupid villains down here. He was threatening, he beat everyone, we got a training arc. Boruto learned a new ability, which he never does, the compressed Rasengan. Not much to complain about here. Orochimaru like deleted that girl from existence. That is one of the best arcs. Moving on, we have the Vessel arc. Again, one of the best arcs. So good. Ao, super cool villain. He felt like a Shippuden villain in a way, because he wasn't like these other villains like Deepa and Urashiki and Momoshiki, who are just like pure evil. Like they have no redeeming qualities. Like Ao felt more of a like a tragic hero, like a fallen hero or a misunderstood person, which is pretty much what all the good villains in Naruto are grounded on. Itachi, Pain, Madara, Obito, they have some sort of opposing philosophy, rather than just being, I want to kill you, ha ha ha. And I much prefer those villains because they're more interesting. You actually root for the villains as well as the heroes, whereas most of the time, it's hard to root for some of these villains. Like Momoshiki, you root for him just because he's cool and badass, but not because you support his way of thinking or like, oh wow, maybe he's right. Not that Ao was right, but he felt like that sort of villain in a way. He had like this Terminator vibe to him. He had the freaking minigun. Yeah, the fight with him was so well animated. Oh my gosh, Boruto popped off. He killed Mugino, which is another thing that I think Car Actuation did really well. It introduced Victor and Mugino, who are people in the manga who get no screen time. And it introduced them and kind of made them important, which made the Vessel arc hit all that much harder because we actually cared about Mugino at that point. He wasn't a nobody, he was a somebody. So when he gets killed off, you're like, damn, dude, that sucks. Moving on, we have the Kawaki arc. This is the best arc in all of Boruto. It's just banger after banger, non-stop action. Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, Kawaki versus Garo, Naruto versus Delta, Kashin Koji versus Jigen, which they kind of butchered in the anime, but the manga is fire. We got the Ishiki fight. Kawaki is like, he was such a cool character in this arc. Watching him like learn about the village and learn to become a ninja and see the difference between a father who actually cares for you and a father that treats you like shit, learning about karma, Kara. There's so many mysteries. The mystery of Kashin Koji, Delta, learning about Amado and Jigen and Otsutsuki. So much lore. Really well done arc. Yeah, this is the best arc. Moving on, we have the Chunin re-examination arc. I think this arc is great. It's just fights. That's it. You don't have to think about anything else. It's just fights. That Iwabe fight versus the cat girl, the cat Susanoo, bro. What was that? That whole episode, they were just like talking to each other. That episode was so bad. But every other fight was super cool. Let's see, Sarada versus Chocho. What's his name? Huki? I don't know how to say his name. Versus Inojin. That fight was so cool. And then Denki versus Samurai Girl, Tsubaki. Really cool fight too. Oh, and then Kawaki was slowly learning like what ninjas were, which built up to Path to Becoming a Ninja, which I don't think is technically its own arc. I think it used to be, but now they combine these into the same arc. But I'm saying they're separate, but they are still. I still think this is a great arc. It's only like 3 episodes, but Kawaki like finally learns what it's like to actually be a ninja, be a shinobi. He goes on like a mission with this kid to like deliver something. He watches the kid die. It's like super gory for a Boruto arc. I remember there's a cool fight in it, and yeah, the ending is like really depressing. This is a great arc. So building off of the Kawaki arc, we got some pretty great stuff, I think, and then it started to go downhill a bit. Great sea battle of Kirigakure. This is the Funato arc essentially. Now, I'm going to say something crazy. I think this arc was decent. I think it was decent. I watched it all the way through. I know the pacing was bad. There were some really weird animation errors, but I like that they had the balls to kill off a character. Multiple characters. We got to see returning characters from another arc. I know there were some letdowns, like the episode where Boruto is fighting Funamushi and the camera just pans to the sky. This is where you could kind of tell, coming off the back of the Kawaki arc, that the anime production was all screwed up. They put all their money into this and were kind of botching the rest of the show. I still think for what it delivered, it was pretty cool. The Funato clan was probably the coolest villain group amongst all the anime canon stuff. Like, they were cool. There's a cool fight where Boruto fights that bow and arrow girl. We get to see, oh, that one kid, what's his name? He was actually like a cool character. Yeah, he was like a shipbuilder, but then we found out that he was part of the Funato clan, and then he went evil, and then we had to like talk about the cycle of hatred, and the ending was pretty good, where Boruto like kills himself to stop the cycle of hatred. I don't have many complaints. It should have been probably like 10 episodes shorter, but I binged it and it didn't feel as slow as Mitsuki's will. Himawari and Kawaki Academy arc, I did not finish this arc, but I still think it was decent. It was just funny. It might be mid, I'm not sure. I remember cracking up laughing watching the episodes, like the tea party episode, and like the one girl, the princess, was kind of cool, I guess. Everyone else was stupid as hell in that arc. I don't know why everyone looked like a Pokemon trainer. Yeah, the plot was terrible. The assassin was like the teacher or something. That was like straight out of Scooby-Doo. Almost wants me to put it back in mid where it belongs, but I think it was funny. But I think it is a mid arc, to be fair. Labyrinth game, this is a decent arc. I think this is a really decent arc. It might even be great. I don't know. It was really cool. I'm gonna say it's a great arc. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, it was a total ripoff of Squid Games, but every episode was really cool. It was fun to like watch him go through different puzzles and try to solve them, and watching everyone die off one by one and seeing how all the different games were different. At the same time, you're watching Sarada and Mitsuki and people try to find where Boruto's lost at, and then in the end we get the reveal of like the 7th or 8th car member. But it was cool, and they're like references to future manga stuff, and kind of filled in a hole in a way, because for like no reason there was just an inner missing, and I think the manga did that on purpose to kind of give the anime room to make their own arc about it. And it felt weird that they just kind of slapped her in the last episode. She should have had a bigger role in the story, but it was a great arc. I like the ending. It was really good. Sasuke Retsuden, this was mid. I'm sorry. I liked the prison stuff. Prison part was cool, but the second dinosaurs got involved and we lost that aspect of Sasuke kind of sneaking around and trying to hide his identity, which is what made the arc cool to me, and it became the Sakura-Sasuke romance. Not to say that it's not a cool romance, I don't care about romance that much, to be fair. I'm watching a shonen, right? Like, I want to see fights. The fight against the dinosaurs at the end was kind of cool, I guess, but I think it was mid. These arcs are better than Sasuke Retsuden. I would rather watch Academy Entrance, School Trip, One Tail's Escort, and the Funato arc over Sasuke Retsuden. Code arc, this is one of the best arcs, but I think it's a bit weaker than the other manga canon arcs. At first, I did not care for Damon and Ada. I thought they were kind of lame. Code was kind of cool, but Code is kind of not that interesting of a villain, nor is he not that threatening, and he never wins any fights. Like, everyone jokes Code's an L. Maybe I should do it like that. Code's an L. Code literally is an L. I don't think he takes a single dub. Where the story peaks is the forest fight, which is where the anime is at now. It's still one of the best arcs. I'm just talking in comparison to the other manga canon arcs. It's just Code as a villain, calling it the Code arc feels weird, because Code is not what makes this arc cool. What makes this arc cool is Kawaki getting his karma back, Damon being a badass, Boroshiki, the big fight at the end, Boruto dying, Momoshiki's prophecy, like all that stuff. Code himself is not even that cool until, spoiler alert, when he gets his limiters removed and is in like the Ten Tails dimension and builds his army. That's when I was like, okay, Code's pretty dope. But then they totally abandoned him and we haven't seen him in like 6 months, so it's hardly even the Code arc anymore. Instead, I feel like we're in a new arc. Code is irrelevant. They've kind of put a pin in him. We'll come back to him later. Instead, we're in the prophecy arc. This is Momoshiki's prophecy, essentially. Chapter 72 onwards to like, we're at 79 now. We're gonna add a row above real quick. I think this is the best arc. The twist in chapter 79 is the best thing that's happened to the series. Honest to God. If you guys want to see my reaction to that, go ahead and click up here. It starts off slow. We get like the cohabitation stuff, but 75 onwards, the story just takes a total turn. We learn about Shibai. We get Amado's complete backstory, the truth. We get Momoshiki's prophecy. Kawaki just starts doing the most devious shit imaginable. We learn all about the time skip. Naruto gets sealed away. Boruto fights Kawaki. Boruto gets his scar. He goes rogue, and then the crazy twist in chapter 79. Like, oh my gosh. If you guys have not read chapter 79 yet, go read it. It's so cool. Everything in the story makes sense now. And it would be so interesting to go back and rewatch all this, knowing what happens in the prophecy arc. So I think this is the best arc in Boruto so far. I'm hoping they keep it up. And I understand why they're going on hiatus now, because they do not want to bloat this stuff with some happy-go-lucky slice of filler. The tone of this story has shifted now. It's completely shifted. It's never going to be the same. And yeah, I can't wait to see where the story goes next. But as of right now, I think... Is it better than Kawaki? I might have to put them both in peak, honestly. I don't think it's fair to say this is considerably better than the Kawaki arc when it's only like 6 chapters so far. But yeah, these two are the best arcs in Boruto, honest to God. I can't wait for the anime to start adapting it. Again, people still consider these the same, but Code is irrelevant at this point, so why are we still calling this the Code arc? Code isn't done anything in like a year in the manga. But anyways, that is my tier list. Let me scroll down a bit so you guys can see it all. Let me know what you guys think of that. Is my opinion valid? W tier list or an L tier list? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna keep pumping out more content. Let me know of any other anime and manga you guys want me to do content on, because Boruto is wrapping up soon. That's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.